It's Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. This is day 4 of the US and Israeli war in Iran, and the war now has boots on the ground in Lebanon.
That sentence alone is staggering. Let's walk through everything that happened in the last 24 hours.
The Israeli military announced today that its troops are now, quote, operating in southern Lebanon. Defense Minister Israel Katz said the army has been instructed to, quote, advance and seize additional controlling areas in Lebanon to prevent firing on Israeli border settlements. Israel is calling it a forward defense measure. But let's be clear about what it actually is. It's a ground incursion into a sovereign country.
And the Lebanese army?
A Lebanese military source told Al Jazeera that the army has pulled its troops back from the border to ensure their safety. Reuters reports the army has withdrawn from at least 7 forward operating positions along the border, the Lebanese army retreating from its own border to make way for Israeli forces. That tells you everything about the power dynamics here.
Israel also hit Beirut again.
For the second consecutive day. New Israeli air raids Tuesday afternoon struck Beirut's southern suburbs, Dahia, again. Lebanon's state news agency described, quote, a new series of intense Israeli air raids causing, quote, extensive damage to buildings. The Israeli military also issued forced displacement orders for 59 areas in Lebanon, including several neighborhoods in Dahia. Monday's strikes alone killed at least 52 people and wounded 154 across Lebanon. The UNHCR says at least 30,000 displaced people have sought shelter since Monday. Many more slept in their cars on the side of the road.
And the WHO reported paramedics being killed.
3 paramedics were killed and 6 wounded in the Tyre district while recovering victims after an airstrike. The WHO condemned it, saying, quote, health workers should never be targeted. They are protected under international humanitarian law. This is not a theoretical principle. 3 people who showed up to save lives lost theirs.
Hezbollah is not backing down.
Not even a little. A senior Hezbollah official named Mahmoud Kmati said today, and this is a direct quote, Israel wanted open war, so let it be an open war. The era of patience has ended. Hezbollah launched a swarm of attack drones at Israel's Ramat David airbase in the north at dawn Tuesday, targeting radar sites and control rooms. The Israeli military confirmed intercepting 2 drones from Lebanon, with a third falling in an open area.
And then Lebanon's own government did something extraordinary.
Lebanon's Council of Ministers voted to ban all of Hezbollah's military and security activities. The foreign minister said the decision requires Hezbollah to, quote, hand over its weapons and tasks the Lebanese armed forces with placing all weapons under the exclusive authority of the state. President Aoun confirmed it. This is a sovereign government effectively outlawing the armed militia that has operated on its territory for decades. While that militia is at war, while its country is being invaded, while bombs are falling on its capital, it's unprecedented.
The question is whether it means anything in practice.
Today? Probably not. Hezbollah is the most powerful military force in Lebanon. They're not handing over weapons because the cabinet said so, but symbolically, it matters enormously. Lebanon just told the world and told Israel, we don't support what Hezbollah is doing. That's a government trying to distance itself from a war it didn't choose.
Let's turn to the broader theater. The US is now shutting embassies.
The US shut its embassies in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Beirut, all closed until further notice. The embassy in Riyadh was hit by drones. The State Department is now telling Americans across 14 countries in the Middle East to, and I'm going to read this exactly, quote, depart now. In all caps. They've contacted nearly 3,000 American citizens abroad and are securing military aircraft and charter flights to get people out.
Was there an evacuation plan before the strikes began?
Trump was asked that directly today. His answer, quote, it all happened very quickly. He said he believed Iran was about to attack Israel and others. When asked if the US government would send planes to evacuate Americans, he didn't answer.
What's the death toll now?
6 American service members are now dead, up from 4 yesterday. The number of seriously wounded dropped from 18 to 10 as some progressed through treatment. In Iran, the Red Crescent says nearly 800 people have been killed in 4 days of Israeli and American strikes. In Israel, 11 people have been killed by Iranian retaliatory fire. Trump told Politico today that Iran is, quote, running out of launchers, and that 49 senior Iranian leaders have been killed.
49.
That's the president's number. He said new leaders are, quote, emerging, and some of them, quote, would be very good. His special envoy, Steve Witkoff, told Fox News something remarkable last night. He said Iranian negotiators told the US, with, quote, no shame, that they had 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, enough for 11 nuclear bombs. Witkoff said the US responded that it had the, quote, inalienable right to stop you dead in your tracks.
Meanwhile, there are reports that the IRGC is texting threats to ordinary Iranians.
NBC News obtained the messages. The Revolutionary Guard Corps is sending texts to Iranian citizens' cell phones telling them not to take to the streets. One message read, and I'll paraphrase, any movement disturbing security will be considered direct cooperation with the enemy and will be met with the firm fist of the IRGC. They're mourning Khamenei while simultaneously threatening their own population.
Let's talk about the diplomatic fallout. Trump went after U.S. allies today.
This was a scene. Trump was in the Oval Office meeting with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. Merz said he and the US are, quote, on the same page about getting the Iranian regime out. But then Trump turned his attention to the countries that are not cooperating. He said Spain refused to let the US use its military bases and called them, quote, terrible and unfriendly. He directed Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to, his exact words, quote, cut off all dealings with Spain. Then he said, and I'm Tomin Tau. Tartafais Ams. Quote, we could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody is going to tell us not to use it.
He threatened to just use a NATO ally's base without permission.
And then went further. He said, quote, Spain has absolutely nothing we need other than great people, but they don't have great leadership. Then, we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. Bloomberg, Reuters, and every major outlet confirmed it.
And the UK?
Trump said he's not happy with the United Kingdom either. He went after Prime Minister Keir Starmer directly, saying, quote, this is not Winston Churchill we're dealing with. So on day 4 of a war in the Middle East, the president is threatening to sever trade with Spain and insulting the British Prime Minister. The alliance structure that has underpinned Western security since World War II is being tested in real time.
All right, markets.
It was brutal. Brent crude surged another 6% to nearly $83 a barrel. UK natural gas prices jumped 30%. That's on top of Monday's 44% surge, hitting a 3-year high. In equities, the Dow opened down more than 2%, before settling about 1.2% lower. London's FTSE 100 fell 2.75%, its worst single day since Trump's Liberation Day tariff shock last April. Japan's Nikkei dropped 3.1%. South Korea's Kospi collapsed 7.2%.
7.2? That's not a dip, that's a crash.
The IMF issued a statement saying the crisis adds disruptions to trade, energy price surges, and financial volatility to an already uncertain global environment. The Bank of England was expected to cut interest rates at its March 19th meeting. The probability of a cut dropped from 80% last week to 29% today. Higher energy means higher inflation, which means rates stay higher for longer. Everyone pays for this.
Gold?
Actually dropped nearly 5% to about $50.72 an ounce after surging Monday. Some profit-taking. Bitcoin fell 2.3%. The pound hit a 3-month low against the dollar. The pattern across markets is clear. Energy up, defense up, everything else under pressure, and the uncertainty premium is only growing.
Before we go, any glimmer of anything that's not on fire?
One thing worth noting, even though it happened last Friday, we haven't covered it yet. OpenAI closed the largest private funding round in history, $110 billion, $50 billion from Amazon, $30 billion from Nvidia, $30 billion from SoftBank. The company is now valued at $730 billion ahead of its expected IPO. While the world is focused on what's being destroyed, there's still an extraordinary amount of capital betting on what's being built. It's a strange juxtaposition.
Strange is an understatement.
Here's where we are on day 4. Israeli soldiers are on the ground in Lebanon. Hezbollah says it's open war. Lebanon banned its own most powerful militia. The US closed 3 embassies and told Americans to get out. Iran's death toll is nearing 800. Trump threatened to cut off Spain, mocked the UK Prime Minister, and said Iran is running out of launchers. Markets are in turmoil. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed, and the president said this could last 4 to 5 weeks. Oh. This every single day because the world is changing by the hour. Stay informed, stay sharp. We'll be back tomorrow.
Take care of yourselves out there.